Hey, Mark, how are you?
All right, Terry.
How are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing all right.
Very
Ready
good.
for the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a good thing.
Yeah.
Iowa Hawkeyes. All right.
Well, that
Are
should
you
be
going
fascinating.
you going to the game?
No,
No.
um, they're all sold out already this year.
Okay.
So I don't know. Maybe we'll see some point
Yeah.
in the season.
All right. So Andy, it's the here in Iowa, the Cyclones and the Hawkeyes are playing, so it's an interstate rivalry weekend.
Oh,
So yes, big. Almost everybody I've talked to today in meetings have either had a Hawkeye shirt on or Cyclone shirt.
ah,
So big weekend.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have a University of Florida T-shirt on, and we did not expect this from the Gators this week. They actually played surprisingly good because they are in the rebuild.
Okay,
That was a good win.
good. And I keep hearing, and I don't follow sports that closely, but it sounds like the Hawkeyes have not done well. Is that
Their offense was pathetic last week, and
okay?
it's not like it's a new thing. Frankly, if the offensive coordinator wasn't the coach's son, I'm not sure he would still have a job.
Oh, there you go. All right.
So yeah, it's been hard. Last year wasn't great either, and it just terrible start to the year. So I guess we'll see how it goes tomorrow. They scored one field goal and then 4 points on safeties. The defense outscored the offense.
That's typically not a good sign.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Well, do you have a specific flow question we can help you with? Or are you just kind of eavesdropping in?
Yeah, mostly eavesdropping. I really has been diving into flow quite a bit the last month and pushing to use flow as much as possible instead of writing custom code. And it's kind of so before that we basically had this line between admin and developers, and now I'm blurring the line, so it's causing just a little bit of turmoil, but nothing serious yet. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting though, that because that does, with all that we can do with flow, it does kind of gray that line a little bit more.
Yeah. Had this been a week ago or so, I might have had a question around external services, but I figured it out, I think. Well, actually, there is one question. I don't know if you guys know the answer. Let me see here how I can ask this question. Let me share. Let's see. Can I share? Yeah. If I can share. All right. So when you have an external service and you're setting up the call out, Flow presents several of the outputs to choose from. I have noticed this is particularly slow. Probably just doing a lot of
that is really
rescanning.
slow.
Yep. I also found in doing this that our API team, their schema wasn't correct. So
Wow.
I let them know and I just tweaked it to make it work. But like you have all these output values. I don't really know what to do or say with this default exception. So I've been ignoring it for now. And I haven't really found anything helpful in my searching, though I haven't spent a lot of time on it because it's not really causing me a problem. I was just curious to know what the intent was there.
So is this
So this is it's a call out to this create chargeback is an external service. that was created by consuming the schema, JSON schema. And so this is one of the services or one of the endpoints it provided to us. And so
Yeah, but it
Salesforce is,
seems like this is an
Yeah, go ahead.
invocable action that somebody created, or it was installed in the org.
no, this is what Salesforce did out of the box when I created an external service. Yep.
Can you show me where you create the external service?
Yeah, sure.
I don't have experience with this, you know, I mean.
Okay,
interesting.
well, that's fine. You know,
Yeah.
I could not find a lot of help with this, so I just kind of by blunt force figured it out.
Yeah. I was just looking through that there as well.
So when you create an external service here, that shows up as an action.
Shows
It
in
does.
your flow.
Yep.
Mm.
And so this is the one I'm using right now. The others I was playing around with before, just as a trial. And let me see if I need to move this out of the way so I can edit it here. So, I mean, this is very similar screens. When you create it, I went ahead and uploaded the JSON schema file. And then as you go through, it gives you a list of operations to select. And this is the only one we need right now. So that's the only one I selected. And you can see here output parameters. Well, you know, I guess, all right, so now that I'm talking through this is coming out of the schema, I think. So I guess I need to find out from the API producers what their intent was. So never mind then.
Yeah, I was looking at some of what happens with that.
Yeah, I guess since they were just they were at first when I looked at it, they were just like some standard response codes, and it didn't even occur to me that this is coming from the JSON, so from the schema. So there you go. I think I answered my question just by saying it out loud.
Well, actually, we can comment on one thing maybe
Sure.
here, which is, Terry, you'd know this probably better than I do, but when you create an invocable action, you're going to see inputs and outputs that you define in your code, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to see anything else. So not knowing what this exactly is, I have to assume that output should be defined in the code. I don't think you're going to get like an automatic default output field or like a placeholder there.
Yeah, they must have defined that for some purpose, and I
Yeah,
guess
that's what I was trying to find.
them.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to find out if there's any. I was just doing some quick Googling to see if Salesforce defines that, because from what I'm hearing you say is that is because you created the external service, Salesforce created this component for you, or this action.
Yes, well, it creates well, here, let's go. I guess we'll go back to the flow and show you how it looks there.
Yeah. I'm finding a nice trailhead that kind of talks to this topic, but I'm not seeing in there where it defines what that value is. And I've seen that before. If we had a API or a integrations expert on a call, they'd probably be able to tell us right off the bat. It's like, oh, that's what that likely is.
Okay. Yeah, so when I do a new action, if you look under external service, it then has all these that Salesforce created for me based on what I selected. So this is the one that I need. These were from the other services that I was testing earlier. So when I do that, then it lets me, you know, it knows the inputs. There's a body, and then there's a status variable on the URI. And then advanced, these are clearly coming from the JSON schema, like I just figured out here a few minutes ago. So I don't think this is anything Salesforce specific. It's just this API, the way it's exposed. its responses.
Well, the 202, 400, and 500, those are different exception error
Yep.
responses to an API, like a REST API call.
Yep.
I don't know. That default exception makes I kind of wonder if that's just not if it's not one of the three above.
Yeah. So let me look
Then
at the if I look at the this is going to respond to me. I guess not. There we go.
yeah, this is a feature that I've not used before. Mostly because I've never had clients that use the external objects.
Sure. Yeah, we basically our implementation, Salesforce is mostly a view into external objects.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Let's see, which one was it that I used here? This one.
I have lots of clients that I wish did that because
Yeah. Well, to
it's a
tell
little
you
bit
the story
pricey.
here, maybe opening the door a little too wide, but one day my boss on a call, he just says, "You guys are just a big TV monitor." And at first I was like, "Well, thanks a lot." But then as I thought about it, I said, "That's probably the best thing you ever
That's
said."
probably a good way of saying it. Yes.
Clarifies our role so clearly. And I come back to it all the time. Guys, we're just a TV monitor. We shouldn't be
Yeah.
putting all this logic here because we don't own it. Let's not duplicate it. And it's a constant battle.
Oh,
So,
yeah. No, that's makes sense. I am not having a whole lot of good luck trying to find anything on that.
well, maybe it isn't coming out of here because, they have the responses there, 200. Well, let me find the chargeback. All right, they get the 202, the 400, 500. Yeah, that very well could be Salesforce because now I guess I'm going to change my answer. I don't see it in the schema right now.
Yeah, I doubt that it is. I think that those are REST responses for
Yep.
REST API responses. I just don't know how they're defining the default one.
Yeah. Well, someday I'm sure it'll become obvious, but like I said, it's not causing me a problem. I'm not missing anything. I
Right.
was just
Well, and if you
wondering
get,
what to do with it.
yeah, the 200 is a success, right? If I
Yeah,
remember right.
Yep, 202 is what they chose here because in this case it's asynchronous. So 202 means accepted, meaning, hey, yeah, we got your request. We'll get to it.
Yeah. And then the other two are specific errors.
Yep, this one will hit if I give them bad JSON. And then this is just generic. They ran into some error they didn't expect. I haven't run into that one yet, fortunately, but they haven't fully delivered on it yet. So we'll see.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's
I like that question though, because that's an interest. I mean, I learned something new every day.
yeah.
Didn't know that existed.
Yeah, and these let's see here. The other thing I figured out is that when Salesforce consumes that schema to create the external service, it creates these Apex defined objects or classes. And so if you create variables, you can refer to them. And this is what it created for us. They'll start with external service underscore, then the name of the service, and then the particular action that you're invoking under the schema.
And you can reference that. I assume that Apex defined then means that you'd be able to define that as a list of different fields or whatever,
like the
and
payload.
you'd be able to payload, that'd be the right term.
That's when I first ran in. So how do I set the payload? Well, I figured that out, and so I need these 4 different attributes, and it's based on various
that makes sense to me. I get that. That's very cool.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised how it all worked together.
Yeah, that is very neat. That's just another good use case then for external services and objects. I like it. And it created those Apex defined variables all for you as well.
Yeah, it did. And then I was kind of curious too.
Huh.
To see if they were visible somewhere. And I just finally kind of stumbled across it today and doing some other research. But if you go under Apex classes and setup and scroll down the bottom, I think it's called dynamic classes. They're all listed there.
Okay. Huh.
So they're buried way down there. Unless you think to scroll down there, you'd probably miss them. So I can
Very
just go ahead and show you
interesting.
that while I'm here.
Yeah, that's cool.
There they are.
Oh, yeah. Extend your programming reach by interacting with Lightning platform components. External services. Huh.
And if you click open, it actually takes you to the service, the external service. Or you can look
Okay.
at, like, here's the request, how they define the class, and you can see the different properties,
Yeah.
or which we're using, the fifth we're not.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool.
I guess the downside of this, especially when I was having to edit the schema to make it right, because what the schema said isn't what they implemented.
Okay.
If you want to change that and you're already using it in the flow, Salesforce doesn't like that. So I had
Oh,
to
right,
basically go
right.
and undo that. And
Yeah.
especially even like all the old versions or the failed interviews, I had to
Yeah.
get rid of all of those before I could update the class.
Yeah, and that makes sense because of it being tightly coupled together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the same as if we were to try to change a field that is being referenced in Apex code. Can't do that either.
Yeah.
Same concept.
And I didn't find a good way to delete them all other than one by one, which was somewhat annoying, but it didn't take
Painful.
forever. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming. It's like we
Yeah.
learned something new, Andy. I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Very good.
I mean,
I-
I looked at outbound messages before, but I've never played with external services, and I did not know it creates like an action that you can call from the flow.
Yeah. I think, there was a bit of a learning curve, but now that I've got this figured out, it's so quick and easy to put this stuff out. Hopefully we'll continue going that way.
Yeah, that's very nice. That's somebody was thinking through that whole process pretty nicely when they came up with that.
Yeah.
Because external services have been around for quite a while, so they must have brought that into flow at some point. But that's very nice.
Yeah. So, I'd be happy to share what I found with the user group at some point. If
Yeah.
you think this would be interesting, I don't know, this might be, given the fact that I didn't find a lot of information on it, I just wonder how many people are actually doing this, but someone will eventually.
Yeah. Well, sometimes just knowing what's possible is such a help.
Yeah.
I mean, Salesforce has gotten so enormous that it's impossible to know it all anymore.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
No doubt.
I tell people when I first started getting into Salesforce and I got my first certification on the platform, I could go into setup and I could almost tell you line by line the items in the setup menu.
Oh, really?
And everything that was there. And now that's a hopeless cause anymore.
Yeah.
It has evolved so much.
I took a boot camp for the PD1 certification back in May and June, and at some point I'm going to take the test, just because that's basically what I've been doing the last 2 years is writing Apex code and developer. But there's stuff in there like Visual Force pages, and I was like, I guess I got to figure it out to pass the test. But right now, there's not even on the horizon for me to be dealing with that. So that's the kind of thing I have to decide.
There is not that much on Visual Force pages, and
Yeah.
probably it may have decreased also in amount.
Okay, that's good because I really don't want to spend a lot of time on something that I'm unlikely to use anytime soon, unless I change jobs, I guess.
Well, with your other developer knowledge, odds are you'd be able to narrow down the right answer on those anyway.
Okay, that's good to know.
And it's Salesforce's version of HTML in a lot of ways. So you'd probably get there.
Other than
unless they ask you specifically for what tag to use in a given scenario, then
right.
Even then you'd probably be able to look at the answers and figure out which one makes most logic sense.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, we have no one else coming in yet, Andy. I did have a handful of new people sign up, but does not.
Well, it
like
seems like people sign up and then many forget to join or something happens.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to also come up with a way of sending out reminders. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe so. I keep promoting it every place I go, and every presentation I give, I put a slide up about it. I did see though that I think it was this morning I was looking at the automation hours email that came out then, and it looks like Rashik is setting up a flow office hours as well that is running every Saturday morning, I believe is what it says.
He has one. He's been doing that.
Has he been doing it for a while? I was going to reach out to him and ask him.
He started maybe one or 2 months ago, but he started. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't aware that we had another one out there, so that's good.
Yeah. I would recommend to actually use Eventbrite maybe for the registration part of it, because it does send out reminders.
Yeah, I'll have to look and see what we can do there. I'm just using, I think, Zoom's webinar.
Yeah, Eventbrite syncs with Zoom and works together well, and it's free. I mean, you can just
nice.
Yeah.
Very good. I might look into that then. See if we can't remind people to come and get some help. Anybody? Are you going to be at Dreamforce, Andy?
Oh no.
No. All right, Mark, are you going to Dreamforce?
No, Midwest Dreaming was good for me. That's kind of more my speed right now.
Midwest Dreaming's hard to beat. It's such a well done community conference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll definitely make that an annual goal to go there every year.
Yeah.
So maybe someday I'll get out. I've been to San Francisco. I lived in California years ago for 7 years, and I don't really have a strong desire to go back there, especially now with flying and everything. And and then you've probably heard me say this before since you're involved in stuff around this area, but I tell people here in the Midwest, it's like there is no excuse not to go to Midwest Dreaming. Oh yeah,
it's such a good conference and so inexpensive and next door.
Yeah, and being from a nonprofit, it was even cheaper for me. So
yeah. Good deal.
It was.
Well, Andy, shall we call it for today?
Yeah.
It's nice to see you.
All right, guys.
Well, nice to see you. Happy Friday, everybody.
All right, you too. Hey, Andy, where are you located? I guess
Jacksonville, Florida. Next stop for me is going to be Florida Dreaming in Orlando at the end of October.
Yeah, I saw that. My sister lives in Tampa. I was down there earlier this year. So who knows? Someday maybe I'll make it to Central Florida for that one.
Sure.
All right.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Happy Friday. Bye-bye.